Hello again. This is now tarot lesson number 113. And usually I've got an outline or an idea of what I want to cover. Today I don't. And maybe this is more like the situation you would find yourself in, where you want to do something, but you don't have an idea of what result you want or what you want to explore. And so this might be useful in that way. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start. And so I find myself shuffling at the moment. And maybe that's the place to begin. It may be that it doesn't matter how you shuffle. I think it does. But it may be that we assume we're going to get the right card anyway. So from the point of view of getting the right card, the shuffling doesn't matter. But maybe it has to do with the state of mind that the reader is in. Because if you sit down and just start with cards, maybe you're not quite in the mood, or you're not quite in harmony with the deck itself, or in harmony with the cosmos, whatever you want to be in harmony with. And maybe that's what a proper shuffle or a good shuffle does. It makes you more in tune with the tarot, whatever the tarot is. And I was thinking, if you're anxious or upset or in a bad way emotionally for whatever reason, maybe it's a little thing, but maybe it's something big. What you can do is take your anxiety or your depression or your fear and shuffle it into the deck and get rid of it. Because the tarot itself will accept your negativity and dissipate it so that it's no longer controlling you and it's no longer anywhere, because the tarot has got, I don't know, magical power or something. So it will take what you don't want, your negativity, whatever that may be, and you get rid of it. And maybe that's the value of shuffling, that it sort of, because you're shuffling cards, you're doing something physical and manual. Maybe it's like a meditation, although you're not meditating, but it's more like you're going through the motions, or you're doing something physical. And because you're activating your physical being in a particular kind of a way, maybe that changes you. Because I know that I used to teach a class at a local college on interpersonal communication, it was called. And I forget how it happened, but it came up once that people would be unhappy about something, or they would be unmotivated and they couldn't get started. They were procrastinating. And so I would often ask the class, what do you do if you're procrastinating and you know you've got to do something but you don't want to? How do you change your mood? How do you get out of the state of being unmotivated to be able to actually start doing what you know you need to do? And so many people said, clean. So if you're unmotivated and you want to do something, clean the table or clean the kitchen, and at the end of it, you've got a cleaner kitchen, but you're also in a better frame of mind to do whatever it is that you need to do. And maybe that's the value of shuffling, that you are in some way doing something physical, and at the end of the shuffle, you've changed, or you're more reconnected with your self, which means that when you then pick cards, it works better, or it works differently, or it's more easy, or the ideas of what the card is pointing to, what it means, are going to flow more easily because you've in some way adjusted yourself to a connection with the tarot, which makes everything easier when it comes to reading the tarot. So let's see, we've done the shuffle, and I've got the video on how to shuffle properly, and you do that. You cut to the left, you turn one, you gather them up again. You do that 3 times, because 3 is the number of emphasis. So that's why you do it. So at the moment, I used to, when I did a Celtic Cross, I would have to take the top 10 cards. And I sometimes wondered how it was possible that shuffling and taking the top 10 cards, whatever they happen to be, would answer the question. So at the moment, what I'd like to do is spread cards out. And it's easier to pick random cards if they're spread out. You could cut and pick a card. I like to do it this way at the moment. And I'm comfortable doing it, so I do it that way because I'm comfortable. So I then pick, let's say I want 3 cards. So let's say that's you. And this is me. And this is this video. And I'm going to see what we get. I had this idea earlier. Maybe I would pick a card for you and one for me. But the thing is, you're represented by the magician. Good for you. So you watching this right now are creative. You're in connection with your magical self. It's a number 1. So it's a time for a new beginning for you if you're watching this. So if you've been thinking about a new regime or a new way of going about things, or developing new habits, or doing the thing that you've been meaning to do for ages, do it now, because you're represented by the magician. At the moment of watching this video, you are the magician, no matter who you are. And maybe the magician will be appropriate and applicable to you for 1 minute, because it's a 1, or maybe it's for 1 day or 1 week or 1 month, or maybe it's a course of a year, that you're going to keep coming back to this beginning point where you've got a creative idea because it's the magician, and it's now time to do something with it. You can look at the card, and we've got the fellow reaching up with his right hand and pointing down with his left, and it's a bit like you're reaching up to heaven, or you're reaching up to perfection, or to the invisible world, whatever that is, and it's going through you, and you're bringing it down to earth. You're doing something with the invisible world, or with the idea, because ideas are invisible. I mean, a card is a card, but that's a physical card, but the idea of a card is invisible, but maybe because there's such a huge variety of cards, different materials, different patterns, different designs, different colors, all of it. You can have a million different cards, but they're all cards. So you can come back to an invisible something that motivates you, that is of interest to you. It doesn't matter what it is. I think that what's important is that you care about it at that moment, or you want to do something with it, or you've got the beginnings of an idea. And so somehow, if you think of it, you're meant to do something with it and see where it leads. And because the magician is upright for you at the moment, the ideas that you've got are good and positive and beneficial and will lead somewhere. If we'd got the magician reversed, then you've got ideas, but they're not quite right, or they're not quite developed. And if, by all means, so if the magician had been upside down, try what you've got, but expect that it's going to lead in a direction different to what the one that you imagine right now, because the magician is upside down. But the magician is upright. So the ideas that you've got now are the inspirations, the exciting thoughts, or the thoughts you've got that excite you and get you motivated and get you interested in achieving, or in doing, or in creating, or in experimenting. You wouldn't have had the thought in the first place if you weren't supposed to do something with it. And remember, I think I said the last time, you're not asking for permission. You're not thinking, okay, I'd like to do this, but, is it going to work, or should I? And what you do is you thought of it, you try it, and then once you've tried it and you've got actual experience, then you can judge whether it's a good idea or not. But otherwise, it's all just mental and playing games with yourself, and it doesn't really go anywhere. But you, represented by the magician, are in good shape at the moment of watching this video. So write down your plans, your ideas, and take them seriously, because it's a major trump and it's upright. Take your ideas seriously and do something with them, even if other people don't get it. You'll be surprised and delighted by what you do with your own idea or your own inspiration, even if other people don't get it. And that's one of the things about, if you've got something good or you've got an idea, keep it to yourself for a while and develop it and let it work, rather than share it with somebody when it's brand new to get their opinion. Because if it's something that you really want and it's brand new for you and you share it with somebody else, they don't get it. You're not going to get positive feedback, probably. And so they'll mess it up, or they'll change it, or they'll dilute it in some way. So if you've got an idea, keep it to yourself for a while. A bit like the High Priestess, which comes next. So that's you. So congratulations, you're in good shape. What about me? The moon reversed. Oh. You can look at it and think, oh no, it's the moon reversed. That's not a good thing. Whereas, we look at the moon. The moon represents, it can be difficulties of one sort or another, but it's upside down, which means I can handle it. So I'm looking at the card as representing difficulties, but it's upside down. So instead of there being difficulties and me being taken in by stuff, at the moment I'm not. At the moment I'm being true to myself, I think, because the moon is upside down. Also, you can look at the moon as the crayfish emerging from water onto the land. So that shows it's a kind of transformation. But the fact that the moon is upside down, my transformation is going to be delayed, or because it's upside down. So, but the reason I was thinking about these two cards, that's you and that's me, it's not so much let me describe you by this card, let me describe me by this card. It's more like the relationship between the two cards in some way describes the relationship between you, the viewer, and me, the maker of the video. And so I think looking at the moon reversed and the magician upright, I ought to be paying more attention to you. And so let me ask you, tell me what you want, or tell me what you would like to examine in a spread or with the tarot, and leave it in a comment or email me directly, and I'll do something with it, because I tend not to read. Well, I look at the comments, but I don't often do much with them. Sometimes I'll respond, other times I won't. But maybe this I'm telling myself here at this point, turn to the people watching the videos and see what they want, and focus on them and what they are interested in, and see what happens. And so that's you, that's me. What about the video? The Tower reversed. Out of 78 cards, I picked 3 major trumps, which is maybe telling me something. So that's the relationship between us at the moment. And this is the video, the Tower reversed. I don't know what to say. If the tower had been upright, okay. In the same way that I looked at the moon reverse, the moon can be, various people have said that there are 3 or 4 negative cards because of the nature of the card. You've got the moon reverse. The moon is an indication that things can go wrong. The tower is another indication that things can go wrong, or things will be unfortunate. And the devil's the third one, for things being unfortunate or difficult or undesired or undesirable or something like that. So here we've got, because the tower is upset, I'm thinking it's upside down. Nothing bad will come from this video. Whereas if the tower had been upright, then okay, maybe I'm telling you things you don't want to hear, or that you ought not to hear, or maybe I'm deluding myself in some way. But the fact that the tower is upside down is a good sign, And maybe that's why these two cards are upside down. So you know that a major trump upside down isn't automatically a problem. It can actually be the removal of a problem. So the fact that the Tower is upside down, you may have thought, when I turned this card for you, and I was talking about you as being the magician, you may have automatically thought, well, it sounds good, but I'm not going to do it, or I can't do it, or it's not going to work, or it's going to backfire. Because maybe you've had ideas before and they backfired, and you think the same thing's going to happen again. It's not, because the Tower is upside down. So if you thought any kind of negative thought you had when I talked about you as a magician, it's not going to develop because the Tower is upside down. Bad things are not going to happen to you, even though they have in the past, or they did in the past. Now, with the magician, there's a change in your thinking. And because we get back what we give out, there's cause and effect in the universe. You don't want to break a glass, don't drop it onto a concrete floor, because you drop the glass, gravity will take it down and smash it. But it was you letting go of the glass in the first place that set the ball rolling. So there's cause and effect. So in the same way with the magician upright, be careful about what you think and how you think it, and write it all down, and then look at what you wrote and assess it and think, okay, is this taking me in a good direction? Is this thought taking me in a good direction? If it is, keep thinking it. If it's not, do something about it. Change it, or tweak it, or do something slightly different, and you'll get a different outcome. So with these three cards, what's important is you get control of your thinking, or you become more aware of the thoughts that you think come back to you one way or the other. And if you don't like what's coming back, what's coming into your life, change what you are putting out into your life, and you'll attract, or you'll get different outcomes. Okay, I think that was it. It seemed like a nice point to end on. So I'm going to end there. I'm trying to look at the clock over there on the computer and I can't see it. So that was 113. So back to me paying more attention to you. Leave a comment and I'll look at it this time. And we'll take it from there. So let's see what, if anything, develops. So thanks for watching and have a nice day, and I'll talk to you again. Okay, bye-bye.